Hi, I'm Julie Gray. I'm the Chief Nurse here at Clatterbridge Cancer Centre. I didn't find out I was dyslexic until I was 25 when I was at university, and I'd gone through primary school, secondary school, sixth form, college and my nurse training before I found out I was dyslexic. I found out when I was at university doing my undergraduate degree. So what that meant for me was this constant feeling that I wasn't quite good enough, that I was slightly different to everybody else. All my friends were and still are very clever, very high achieving, and I didn't feel like I was quite keeping up with them. And then when I got to university, one of my friends was tested for dyslexia, and we had a conversation about what did that mean, and the things that she described were all things that I'd experienced, and I just assumed everybody was like that. So that kind of triggered a thought in my head that maybe it was something that I needed to get looked at. So I went to support services and had a dyslexia assessment, and that's when I found out I was dyslexic. So I suppose the main thing was everything that was going on in my head that I knew and I could have a conversation about, I couldn't translate through my arm and hand into a written piece of work. So I had a great imagination and I could have a really good conversation with somebody, but I couldn't write any of that down. So it's more than when people think being dyslexic means you can't spell or you get your letters the wrong way around. It's so much more than that. It's about, for me, an auditory processing issue. So I can I have everything in my head, but I can't always get it out on paper. And when the education system that I was in at that time was very much about how you handwrote things, I struggled and had that disconnect. I think about it objectively, it's probably the best thing that ever happened. Because I didn't go down that traditional route of O-levels, A-levels, doing a degree, I dropped out of my A-levels halfway through, and my parents told me I needed a profession, not just a job, and that's when I went into nursing school. So at that time it wasn't a degree programme, it was a traditional nursing programme, and I think that was the best thing for me, because from day one it made sense. It made sense because it was about dealing with people, a lot of it was about intuition and about the feel of how things are, and I learned how to be a nurse first and foremost, and then I could back that up with the education, and that education made sense once I knew how to do the job practically. So I think initially it probably made me feel very insecure and not quite as bright as everybody else. But then over time, what I've realised is I am equally as bright as everybody else. I just process in a slightly different way. And because I'd learned the skills of nursing in a traditional format, I felt more confident then to go on to university, to do my undergraduate degree, to do my certificate in education, so I'm a registered tutor, and then to go on to do a master's degree. I'm stopping at that point, I'm not going any further, I'm not doing a PhD. But I think had I done that when I was younger, I wouldn't have done that when I was younger. I wouldn't have had the confidence to do it. I don't think I had strategies when I was younger, if I'm honest. I think when I got to being in a role in a hospital that meant I had to write things, I then developed strategies, and I was really lucky because at that point everything became digital. We all worked on computers, and actually that disconnect between my brain and my hand goes when you're working digitally. It certainly does for me. So I can actually write papers, write policies very easily and comfortably on a computer. If I was asked to handwrite that, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I've just managed to get myself into roles and positions where I can almost shape how I do that. So I think the main thing is it might be different to someone else, or someone else might be different to you, but it doesn't mean that you can't do something. It just means we do it differently. And actually I think of the things that come for me with being dyslexic, about having intuition and being able to interpret people's body language easier than some other people can, actually is a bit of a superpower that somebody else might not have. So it's about using what you've got and what your skills are to get you into the right role. And once you're in the right role, it will just click and you'll fly. I think it's not something to be ashamed of. We're all slightly different, and different's good. Wouldn't do if we were all the same. We all bring something different to the table. From my experience, it's a very inclusive organisation. I think we welcome that diversity. I think there's always more we can do, but I think on the whole, we encourage people to speak up about what that bit of them is that's special, that what their superpower is, and try and enhance that. If you take the time to understand people and find out what their skill is, and to support them through that skill and develop that role so you enhance that skill, then we're going to get a really rounded workforce and everyone's going to be playing to their strengths, be happier and be much more productive.